Hello, I'm Christopher Macor from wholenessgeeks.com, and welcome to Meditation Happy Hour. Meditation Happy Hour is a time when I share meditations, practices, processes, perspectives, both traditional and modern. And today I'm going to be sharing a process that I do once a week. It's called vision journaling. And this process originally came from Stacy Hartmann, who is a spiritual coach, um, and and I've added a few things to it myself. Um, but basically, it's an activity, a process that you can do when there's some goal that you have, some aspect of your wholeness that you want to develop. You run it through this process, and it clears away a lot of the internal beliefs that might be standing in the way of that ability. It kind of fleshes it out in terms of senses um, and beliefs, like I just mentioned, and yeah, essentially it clears the path. Clears the path. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. Um, there's 13, no, there's 12 steps at this point, and it might grow. But the first step, Roman numeral 1, is called future you. So you make this statement: I have established myself as whatever it is that goal is. How am I being, and what am I doing? And then the way that I've particularized that is to go through what I consider the 13 aspects of my life and see what effect this establishment of this goal or this ability would have on each of those aspects. And the aspects of life that I have determined for myself are health. I'll actually, there's 13, I'll number them. Number 1, health. 2, relationship. 3, business. 4, creativity. 5, spirituality. 6, causes. 7, recreation. 8, learning. 9, dream work. 10, miscellaneous. 11, frameworks. 12, teaching. And 13, wholeness. So I run whatever that goal is through those aspects, and just write down what comes to me, like what is the uh, I'll give an example. The actual uh, what I did this week is I consider myself what I call a Spiro Creato entrepreneur. And what that means is there's a spiritual aspect. I've been meditating over 50 years. There's the creative aspect. I consider myself a creative artist. My degree from Naropa Institute is interdisciplinary. Um, so I studied all the art forms. I'm certainly more developed in certain art forms than others, like writing. Uh, writing and music and art. So I've that was the goal this week. That was the vision journal, and so I ran that through, and um, for instance, with regarding so I um, regarding say the third aspect of life, business, the what I wrote down was I make money easily. So number two, the second step of this process, Roman numeral two, is power words. And power words are there's six sentences that like prompts that you use. I am, uh, it is, now is the time. I love to, whoa, and thank you. So for instance, regarding I realize that, I'm very developed spiritually and creatively, but it's like a table with three legs. The third leg is the entrepreneurship, and that's what I've been working on for the last 5 years or so. And I kind of thought that I would just need to study that a little bit and have that apply to my spiritual and creative aspects. But what I realized was that I need to learn that aspect of this three-part thing that I'm working on. I need to learn that aspect as well. In other words, I need to put in the 10,000 hours on that and become what some people would call unconsciously competent. There's like four stages of development. There's unconsciously incompetent. There's consciously incompetent. There's consciously competent, and then there's unconsciously competent. Unconsciously competent is like you've learned it so thoroughly that it's underbuilt and it's just very natural. And I can do that in the spiritual and creative realms, but in the business realm, I still have to think about it. So I'm working on unconscious competence. So regarding those six statements, I am an unconsciously competent entrepreneur. It is my destiny to have three strong legs for this table. Now is the time for me to become unconsciously competent, a unconsciously competent entrepreneur. I I love to deliver messages adeptly, because this process, these three legs are that you connect with source, you express that in the five through the five art forms, and then you deliver it to the world. So it's about, the message from source reaching the world. Um, Whoa! I didn't know that I was going all the way with this entrepreneurship learning. Like I spoke about before. And then the last one would be thank you for this opportunity to complete my wholeness, because I feel like this entrepreneurship is the completion of my wholeness. And so it's gratitude, basically. So step number three, Roman numeral number three, is what's called pull the thread. And it's basically, it's like, what is, if this was established, this unconscious competence, uh, as an entrepreneur, and the three legs of the table, the Spiro Creato entrepreneur, what is something that would just be showing up in daily life? Um, and I realized that if I, had that expertise in all those areas, um, I would be an excellent marketing consultant because I would understand, the spiritual aspect of manifestation, the expressive aspect of manifestation, and the actual delivery. Number four, Roman numeral number four of the fourth step of this 12-step process is wow. It's called wow. And there's four parts to wow. There's shock, there's excitement, there's curiosity, and there's generosity. So shock, in this case, would be, I didn't know I would have to master entrepreneurship, right? So there's what you're doing here with wow is you're kind of bringing strong emotion into this. So and if you know about manifestation, that strong emotion drives manifestation. So the second one is excitement. And what I wrote down is, I will be a wealth of knowledge, ability, and creativity. The third is curiosity. How many people can I help? And the fourth is generosity. I wrote, I am such a huge force of message. Like I was saying before, this is really about putting out messages to the world so that so that they inspire, they motivate, they transform, um, and they reach the world. They actually complete the cycle. So the fifth step of this process, Roman numeral number 5, is the senses. And you know about the 5 senses, of course, but I've added 2 more in. I've added in emotion and thought. And so, and I start with smell because smell is really, I believe it's the most predominant emotion. Like if you walk into a room and there's like a horrible smell going on, that's the first, it's going to take over. It'll even take over the visual, you know. So I put smell first. Uh, and what I wrote down for, regarding um, this goal that we talked about, I can sniff out the solution to any block. So what we're doing here is trying to make this whole thing more sensorial. Sight is the second one, second most predominant. Uh, and what I wrote is, I belong like the hub of a wheel, right? So the hub of a wheel is central to the wheel. And for me, where the belonging comes in is that by developing this delivery part of the table, the third leg, that's how this connection that I have with source and this way of expressing it, that's the way that it actually becomes of value to society, and that's the way that I belong to society. The third sense is sound, and what I wrote, as I was outside writing this, and there was a rooster uh, sounding, and so what I wrote is the rooster is heralding humanity's sovereignty, and where that comes from is um, everybody's got a piece of the puzzle. Everybody's got a message that's valuable to the world. And if I feel like I can help people recognize that message, and express it and deliver it by doing this for myself, I can help other people. Sensation, this is the touch. I kind of think of it as sensation. And what I wrote is I feel the energy of all life. And when I envision myself connecting with the world, delivering to the world, there is a sensation of the underlying energy that we all share. And then emotion, in a sense, in this countdown, it's the fourth sense. What I wrote is my benevolence is enormous. So in this process of developing, the spiritual, the creative, and the entrepreneur, and helping other people do that, I am helping humanity in a big way. And that sense of benevolence grows inside of me. Number 6 is thought. And what I wrote is, the populace has risen to the occasion. Meaning that through the development, each person's development of connecting with Source and expressing it and delivering it to the world, we've risen to the need for humanity to shift and become stewards of life rather than perpetrators of life. And then taste, what I wrote down is, we have tasted our stewardship. So that's number 5, the 5th step of this process. Number 6, Roman numeral number 6, is the golden ratio. And what this means is that if you, in terms of manifestation, if you think of an event, a milestone that you would like to have happen, and then you think of how you would feel the day after that milestone was achieved, that's the golden ratio. So what I wrote down was, now every post I make returns readership, right? So that's kind of keying into the deliverability. Number 7 of this 12-step process is called the multiplier. And basically it's about how can this thing that I'm developing, how can I share it with the rest of the world? And what I wrote is, my resulting vertical is a huge audience. And what I mean by that is a vertical is kind of another name for a niche. Actually, a vertical is more like a niche is like a subset of a vertical. A vertical can be like health, or relationship is a vertical. Um, but what I see is that by combining spirituality, creativity, and entrepreneurship, there's like this huge that those are like huge verticals, and they combine to make an even bigger, a bigger group of people that I can help. So number 8 of this process, Roman numeral number 8, is wise. The wise, that's Y plural, not. Uh, you could think of it as wise, WISE, but um, it's kind of drilling down on why you're doing what you're doing. I learned this. I think first I learned it from Harv Eckert, and then from Dean Graciosi. And basically, what you do is you ask yourself, why am I doing this? And then you ask yourself, why is that important? And you keep going down until I go down like 7 levels. So with this, Spiro Creato entrepreneurship, unconscious competence, number 1 is because that's who I am, right? The spiritual and the creative, that's already happening, and the entrepreneurship was sort of like the shadow element. I can remember my brother was a car salesman for years, and I remember just kind of like detesting that as a vocation. And what that detesting was masking was this incredible need for knowing how to do that part of life. And so these 3 legs of the table are actually who I am. And why is it important to be to for my why to actually be who I am? Was because the motivation to do it is inherent. It's like I do this anyway. I get up, I meditate every day. I've been doing that for 50 years. I create, write songs, um, write, do art, dance, uh, act out dreams. These are just things that I do, and regardless of who or what appreciates that, I will continue to do those. So the motivation is inherent. Why is it important that the motivation be inherent? Because it creates an indomitable will around this forward thrust. Why is indomitable will important? Because it makes the activity a sure thing, and the success of the activity a sure thing. And why is making it a sure thing important? Because if it's a sure thing, then I and anybody involved in it can rest. If it's a sure thing, then it's like it's eternal. It's just it 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 it's what is and what will always be, and there's a sense that you can just rest in that um, surety. Number 6 is why is the 6th why. Um, Why is rest in the internal important? Well, it's because then the future you, right? We started out with the future you. That's the first step. The future new you is now. When you can rest in the eternal, the future new you it establishes itself now. And number 7, so why is the future new you now important? Because then when the future you is now, then you and this activity, this aspect becomes a timeless element of evolution. It just becomes established as, you know, the motivation is inherent. It's going to go on forever, and you become a timeless element of evolution. So number 9, Roman numeral number 9, is what's called syzygy. And syzygy is I believe it's a Jungian term. And the way I understand it, it's a practice where you basically ask, I don't know, I think Stacy Hartmann, the person who started this vision journaling, I think she may have kind of altered the meaning of this, but the way I understand it is you think about what would be the worst thing that can happen regarding this, project. You're basically you're going to the shadow side of your thinking about this process. You're confronting it. Instead of leaving it be this instead of leaving it to be this lingering kind of unmet element, you're actually confronting it and dealing with it, right? Face facing it fully. And so in this case, what I wrote down was, what if I die before I achieve this mastery of entrepreneurship? And so the answer to that is I would pick up where I left off in my next life. And with the idea that my wholeness, right, this third leg, it represents it's the last piece of my wholeness, and my wholeness is eternal. When you become whole as a person, as a society, it becomes eternal. You've completed yourself. So that's number 9. Number 10, Roman numeral number 10, is mini. It's called mini. It's kind of like the third one, pull the thread. It's like what's one little kind of if this was established, this goal was established, and what's like one little slice of life that would show that this was established. And what I wrote down was I would play at the Mission Ballroom. So I'm a musician, and this is on my bucket list, is to play at the Mission Ballroom, which is a music venue in Denver. I'm in Boulder, this is Colorado, and it's a nice venue. It's about, I think it seats around 5,000, but it's said that the sound is good, and it was actually built for music, or it was a building, and then it was renovated, and it was renovated for music, and it said that the sound is good anywhere in the hall. So that's one of my mission statements, and that would become possible because of my ability to connect with Source and express it through the 5 art forms and deliver it to the world through one of my bands or one of my music, uh, in this case, through my band. So number 11 is called, and Roman numeral 11 is called timeline. And so what you do with this is you take that goal and you like push it out as far as you can in the future. And that's the first one. And then you come back to something just immediately in the future. That's the second one. And then the third one is somewhere in between those two. So in this case, what I wrote down was that the one that's far out into the future is this Espiro Creato Entrepreneur is a template for aligned manifestation. And what I mean by that is that the way manifestation works is, the way I understand, is you connect with source and you express it and you deliver it to the world. It's like that's the mechanism of manifestation. And this aspect of my wholeness, this delineation of my wholeness, is actually it's a template of the way manifestation works. So that's way out in the future. What's close is one of the ways I create music is with AI, and I have a brand called Message Maestro, and it's about, like I've been talking about, it's all about message. So the music is a delivery system for a message. So and I have about 6 albums on the streaming platforms, and what I would like to see is to in order to earn a steady monthly income of $1,000 from that streaming, I would need to have 14,000 streams a month. Where a person goes and streams one of those songs, and there's 14,000 people do that, and that's how I can have $1,000 income from that per month. So that's the close one. The one further out is, like I've been talking about, this system, I believe, can help people in general, because we all have a message. We all have the way it seems to work is that we all have a wound, and we have to, in order to heal that wound, we have to work harder than most people would have to work in that area of life in order for that wound to be healed. And so we learn more, and we become experts in that particular area. If we choose to do that, if we, meet the challenge of our life, we take our mess and we turn it into a message, and we each have that. And so I see that that's one of the ways that I can help, one of the avenues that how I can help people. And I'm seeing this as like a community and a newsletter, the Mess to Message community and newsletter. And it's international, and there's a membership, and what I would need in order to make $3,000 a month from that monthly membership is I would need 333 subscribers in order to do that. So that's the middle step between those in this timeline. Okay, so step number 12, the last step is what I do is I draw a card from the tarot. And there's many different tarot decks, it doesn't matter. But the card that I drew was the major arcana, the wheel, number 10. And the wheel is about, well, because it's number 10, you have the combination of 1, which is the individual, and 0, which is the whole. So you have this combination of the individual and the community. And the wheel is about wholeness. And what it said in the particular deck that I'm using, it said that the wheel represents that each moment is a miracle. And what that did point it out for me was that this is a vision journaling, and it's a aspect of my wholeness that's moving forward in time. And it could be easy to kind of just keep that in the realm of abstraction. But what this card is pointing out is that it's like, how do I live that every moment? Every moment is a connection with source, is an expression of that, and is a delivery. So those are the 12 steps of the vision journal, and I've tried to give you example, a personal example to see, so you can see how this works out. But this is something I do every week. And I choose, just like when I'm choosing the topic to do that this week, I'll list, it's like what are things that are that I'm wanting to develop, and I'll just write down a few, and then I pick one. I think it's good to write down a few, because if you just go with the first one you think of, there might be something more predominant, in time. So when you just kind of turn on the faucet and just let it all kind of come out, then you can see better of what needs to be worked on and make a choice about it. And it takes at least an hour to do this, maybe 90 minutes. But I believe that it's, if you're a person who, if you're a wholeness geek like me, and it's important to you to become all of who you are, then this vision journaling process can help with that. So if you have any questions, or you have any comments, or even if you want to share your own process or practice or perspective or meditation, you can join the Wholeness Geeks Facebook group and do that. Otherwise, I'm Christopher Macor, and this has been Meditation Happy Hour, talking to you about vision journaling. Thanks for watching and listening.